Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to ERA. My name is Stephen Koenig. Glad to have you guys around. It's going to be an exciting time here at ERA, and we are going to be having a great race nonetheless. So, that being said, we're going to be moving on down towards our qualifying, and our drivers are heading out here at Brands Hatch for the final race of the season. Gotta say, super excited on this one. It's going to be a very close running. And looking at how the championship has come down to the final round, it is all or nothing for our drivers to be able to move forward here tonight. So, that being said, let's go down to the grid and find out what is it all going to look like here tonight at ERA as qualifying is underway as our drivers make their way through. This is Christian Goth. Keep an eye out on him. The Mustang has been rather strong of late, proving to be quite a formidable foe for drivers, and seeing how it's going to be launching its way around the circuit, really improving as time goes on. So, as we get ready to rock and roll here tonight, gotta say it's going to be that rather interesting race of note. So, taking a look to our championship, which is rather close. We've got Christoph Peterson for the Diamonds, currently running in first place. Mahaith Musa in second. Ernest Lumbriggs in third. Followed by Ernest Lumbriggs, Christian Goch, Dorius running in fifth. Chris Wall, Sean Scooter, Jude Neville, along with Michael Castro. Stephen Milano James in 10th. Now, one thing, Christoph Peterson is currently lying with 89 points over the likes of Mahaith Musa, who's actually sitting with 84 points at current. So keep an eye on the two, as they will be looking to challenge for the overall win in this season 12, ladies and gentlemen. Taking a look to our Platinums, though, it is a huge charge because we got David Scrudon running in first place of it, is running with 84 points, 10 points ahead of Flo Scub, who's been on a charge of late. The fast and feathered little car has been really on the climb. Christian Fingler running in third place, but is unfortunately not here to race, but has passed on a message. A massive thank you to all drivers, all teams, spectators, and supporters of ERA. We absolutely want to say thank you so much for all the hard work and care and dedication you put towards us. We continue to grow, and for 2025, it's looking to be exciting, with lots of new opportunities, lots of new ideas coming in, and lots of new ways forward for ERA. We welcome everyone for 2025 for joining us. We look forward to everyone returning. We'd like to wish you all a happy holidays and a happy new year. Keep it on the track tonight. A big thank you to Christian Fingler for that. He's running in third, but he's going to lose that champion. He's going to lose that third place. Kurt Reynolds running it in fourth, followed by Ike Sky, Dave Young, Christopher Losky, Nicholas Cora, Nicola Lawrence, and Sebastian Robinson running in 10th. Looking at our golds, though, it is the likes of Neil Greening currently leading out the pack. And he is looking to really step up the pace here tonight to ensure that he can take the fight to the sharp end of the field. And Neil Greening has been on that slow climb. He's been attempting to get quicker and quicker every single race. Some really great runs, others a bit of a drop-off. Lewis Knight running in second place, though, who's had a difficult time. And I've got to say, it's one of the drivers that, if we go back a little bit, and I mean go back a little bit, Lewis Knight was a driver that went and threw out the whitetail. He was done with it. He wasn't going to continue on with the race. And that was at the likes of Suzuka. He didn't want to go and didn't want to race. He was finished with it. Well, he still got back in the car and charged his way through. So Lewis Knight looking to finish off on a high He's on 78 points behind Neil Greening's 86, so keep an eye on them. And Nicholas Porras is also a driver to keep a very, very close eye on. The Buttery Biscuits V8 has been on the charge. He's on 59 points, so it's going to be a bit close to try and get to Lewis Knight, but has really shown he can take the fight to the sharp end. But Federico Calgero will be going and fighting him out for third place, as Federico Calgero running in fourth. He's got 52 points, followed by Flynn Van Hollen, Milan Starkov, Richard Oakes, Damian Maloney, David Young, and Patrick Piles. Now let's go and take a look at what our grid's looking like, with Peterson currently at the top of the charts with a blazing 128.9 around a very, very wet Brands Hatch circuit. Absolutely love this track, and it's got two formations. It's actually got three types of formations over the course of the years. It's got the normal track, as we would see now. Then it's got the Indy, which is a little bit shorter, and it actually has a rallycross circuit as well. Brands Hatch also goes and has a variety of different races that happen on it, like Formula Ford racing. It's home to the Formula Ford Festival that happens yearly, but it's also home to the likes of some truck racing, believe it or not. Guys do a bit of truck racing here at Brands Hatch. Very tight circuit. Well, GT3 race cars are not quite trucks, as much as some of the front engines are starting to feel there. Current discussion down in the pits is wondering about the Audis being a little bit quicker. Well, at the moment, it's the Honda, 2 BMs, followed by 2 Aston Martins that are running at the sharp end of the field, which is a bit different to the Mustangs that we've seen of current. David Scrudon running second place, and first of the platinum class is going and chasing down. And speaking of the Mustangs, Christian Goch going and proving me absolutely wrong as he made his way through Podium Hill into turn 2, currently running in third place on a rapid charge at current. Paul Fenter puts himself into third place, and Paul Fenter's in for an interesting year for 2025, as he's now the vice president. He's a vice chairman of the Motorsport South Africa Sim Racing. So he's now going to be helping out and governing in terms of ASNs here in South Africa for sim racing, being part of the new charge there. So Paul Fenter going and looking to end off on a high, and after a huge amount of support. A bit of interesting information, and this is coming from Alfred Samo. This year's British Superbike race was Crazy 2 at Brands Hatch Championship was decided by last lap overtake between P1 and P2. Absolutely great to hear that. And this is what I like to see, a bit of interest coming in, a little bit of past, present, and future. And also, whether it's we all petrol heads here, we love to go and see a bit of history getting shared, much like we're about to see history tonight. Will Christoph Peterson be able to retain the crown after season 10, 11, where he won? I think he also won season 9. So it would be a 3 times holding the crown. Can he hold it for season 12 to make it 4 times? Or will he be usurped at the last by the South African? We're about to see a huge fight between them. But likes of David Scrudon of the Team Marlboro BMW running in second place, maybe that linchpin to take it all away from Mahathmusa. Lewis Knight, first of our golds, running in 8th place at current, and with Flo Scub in 9th in that second place for the Pro-Am. Neil Greening, second place of the golds, trying to push a little bit harder, but Jude Neville on a charge, currently 0.2 fastest than everyone, but lost it into turn 2 as they make their way around. So Jude Neville trying to get that little bit of pace in the Mercedes AMG GT3 Evo 2. And this is a monster of a car to take around here. It's going to work. It's going to do some exceptional racing, and also going and seeing what the drivers will be able to push themselves. Mixed conditions. You couldn't plan for it. This was to end off on the high of you had to come up with every idea of what you're going to be able to do. Ernest Lundbriggs, though, in the 488 Ferrari Evo, managing to get himself into first place with a blistering 128.9. Well, David Scrudon goes and absolutely nobbles that time with a 128.7 as he absolutely got it across the line. And now looking to push himself a little bit harder. Only 0.1 of a second separating first and second place. As Kristoff Peterson trying to get going. Our top 4 all running in the 128. Fifth, Darius. That is the James Hunt of the likes of sim racing. No joke. I got to take my hats off to Darius. A little bit early on this year, he decided he's going to try his change the hat, taking off the helmet, and became a commentator. And did a fantastic job at it. It was pretty much as people would describe, the James Hunt to the Murray Walker in that regard. So well done to him. This is going to be a proper run. And Damien Maroney also going and showing a bit of support in the virtual grandstands. And Afro Samurai going and Samu going and saying, hope the conditions wet, dry, back with whole way through. So that was this Thursday that's gone past here at ERA. And it's good to know. Well, we're about to find out as we see Kristoff Peterson coming off at Podium Hill after getting a 127.9. Ernest Lundbriggs in second. Davis Crudon now into third. Jude Neville into fourth. Darius, Mahayath Musa, Stephen Milano, James has done an incredible job thus far. He's sitting in 7th position. Christian Goth down to 8th. 9th place, Neil Greening, 0.1 up on his personal best with Paul Fenter. 0.3 up on his personal best as he rounds the final corner. Absolutely hammering it all the way through, pushing as hard as he can for the Banana Express and across the line, moves himself up into 7th position, which puts Neil Greening into the drop zone of 10th place with David Young in 11th. Finn Van Holland, though, absolutely like a wind rush, comes in, puts himself into 12th. And I do want to point out that our golds are currently 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 11th, 12th, and 12th, 13th, and 14th. Apologies, as Flo Scub puts himself into that 10th place spot to get himself sorted. Chris Wall down into 15th and gets it unsteady. Lewis Knight trying to push a little bit harder as he cycles his way through. Richard Oakes slides the rusty Porsche, and the Rust Bucket Racing has been doing an incredible job thus far to keep on going. Skurt Reynolds, Ike Sky has been on a huge charge with the big Bentley representing the UK. And oh man, Tank Slapper on the way through of note. Christoph Rolotsky in the Lamborghini, pushing a little bit more. David Roth a little bit further down. 0.8 up on his personal best. This is going to be a big jump for him. Probably into the top 15. And does into 12th position. Absolutely scoring big there. Mickey Taylor, Team Racing Turkey, now pushing a second up on the personal best. So Mickey has really stepped it up. Lying in 26th position. And this may be a big run for Mickey Taylor. 0.8, lost out a little bit of time. Gonna have to cycle the way through into Moss Corner. It's hard onto the anchors, into the double left-hander. Really putting the power down as you go on board. And take a look what's happening. Final corner, around the final bend. Gotta keep it going a little bit understeer. Oversteer kicks in. Flat on the gas. No giving up here. Possibly a much better position, comes across 23rd position after improving a second in that lap. Well done. Absolutely great stuff to see drivers pushing themselves that little bit more. Peterson currently leading out the pack, trying to open up the gap a little bit more. Well, not going to happen this time. Properly down, looked towards that pit lane as Ernest Lundbriggs going in, making his way through. 0.2 up. Stephen Milano James is currently matching his personal best. Oh, David Screwdon a little bit slow. Darius going and stopping. Neil Greening stopping as well. So they're not going to push any further. Paul Fenter is going to try his best. 0.1 up. Flo Scub trying to push a little bit harder as he looks to get into that top 10. It's going to be around the final corner. You can get this one right. Currently making a bit of time. This is in the infield of the circuit that he's trying to make his way through. He's hoping to catch up a little bit closer to David Screwdon, running in 5th place, and unfortunately lost too much time. Ernest Lundbriggs, 0.4 of a lap quicker as we jump on board the roll bar. You can see how frantic it is on the steering wheel as they try and make their way through, cutting it close. It gets a little bit slippery over the curbs. You're going to have to get on the brakes here, down to second gear, carry the momentum back up and onto the grass. That is unfortunately going to be a bit of loss of time there. He's 0.5 up though. Can he be able to snatch that first place on the final lap that's needed? He comes across the line. What will it be? 0.4 up and only able to hold second place. So drivers now starting to make their way through. Matt Gale trying to get a little bit more momentum. As you can see, quite frantic with the Mustang. Busy trying to control the beast as they go and battle their way through. Bouncing over the curbs. Trying to carry as much momentum as possible. Down into second gear. In through the left-hander. Back on the power as he tries to seesaw at that steering wheel to see if it can make it any better. Christian Koch chasing him down. But Matt Gale looking to try and get out of that 26th position. Will come across the line. Will it be enough? 0.8 of a second. Might be able to move him up. Yes, it does. 23rd as it comes across the line. Absolutely stunning, stunning stuff. So, that being said, folks, we're going to be getting ready to rock and roll once again here tonight. And it is going to be a absolutely wild, wild one. So we're going to have a little bit of audio coming and bleeding through as we seem to have got our routing table a little bit better there. It's one thing I could say. Eating physical faders is something I never thought I would ever have to say. But, yeah, no, that's something that on the desk will come. But Brands Hatch, wet conditions, damp with a high track temperature of 28 degrees. And I'm going to chuck in a little bit of food for thought. Currently, it's in the next 5 minutes, it's about to be overcast. 15, it's about to be overcast, which means the rain will stop. And we will go racing with damp conditions that possibly will dry up. So keep an eye out for that dry line that will start to form on the circuit. 1 hour and 30 minutes of racing, folks. That is what our drivers are going to need to go and think about on a very warm circuit here at Brands Hatch out in the UK. But we're also going to see how this is all going to play out tonight for the ERA Sunday Championship, the final race of the season and the final race of 2024 for the Sunday Championship. It's going to be a wild one. It's going to be an exciting one. It's going to really push what our drivers are capable of here tonight. So, as we're lining up in the pits, drivers' nerves building. The spectator stands getting more and more full out there for Server 1. This is essentially our pros and pro-ams that will be going out for the final round. Really looking to push themselves that little bit further to see how it's all going to go and who will need to take the climb towards the sharp end of the field. Let's go down to the grid. A beautiful shot of the grid. Now, let's take you through for the final time of 2024 our success penalty coming in. If you scored first place, you get 15 seconds. Second place, 10 seconds. Third, 5 seconds. In your class. This is to bunch the racing up to get you a lot closer to your competition, and you have to serve that on your mandatory pit stop. Now, you will notice we also got 2 mandatory pit stops during the course of this 1 hour 30 minutes worth of racing. That means you got to get in the box, go up on the jacks, 1 liter of fuel in the car, down and go. Are you going to short fuel? Are you going to put tires on early? What is the plan? Well, the track is looking a little bit drier than a lot of the drivers planned from what they saw in qualifying. So let's go through. Christoph Peterson sitting in first place has got 10 seconds on his time. Mahath Musa has got 15 seconds. 13th place is Flo Scup, along with Neil Greening has got 15 seconds. Nicholas Porras down in 18th has got 5 seconds, with David Young has got 10 seconds. Scott Reynolds a little bit further down in 22nd position has got 10 seconds added to his time. that he will have to serve on the way through. Absolutely incredible stuff. 27 cars lined up, ready to go, and looking forward to some great racing. So let's quickly go through our drivers and give them a bit of a personal show here. Christoph Peterson out in first. We'll look to try and get the run. Ernest Lundbriggs in the 488 Ferrari Evo. The 296 of Stephen Milano. James Mahayath Musa in the BMW M4 GT3 for Project Vapor. Logistical Nightmares' very own Jude Neville in the Mercedes AMG GT3 Evo. David Scruton in the BMW M4 GT3. The Audi R8 of Darius, the James Hunt. The Audi R8 Evo, along with Paul Fenton, the Aston Martin AMR V8. Christian Goch in the Mustang GT3, also known as the GTD. Then we have got Lewis Knight in the Nissan GTR, one of the older cars out on the grid. Thomas Walton of Palinka Power is in the Mustang GT3. Followed by Finn van Holland, Windrush Racing has got the Porsche GT992 GT3. Flo Scrub of the Aston Martin AMR for the Fast and Feathered. Chris Wall in the Aston Martin AMR V8. David Roth in the Mercedes AMG. Neil Greening in the Aston Martin. Nice guy in the Bentley. Along with Nicholas Porras. David Young in the Porsche 992 GT3. The Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Huracan Evo 2. And you'll notice just because the Evo 2 has got that little fin on the back, it's always nice to know in terms of GT3 racing. It actually finishes up the profile quite nicely. Richard Oakes in the 992 GT3R. And the Mustang of Skurt Reynolds. Matt Gall in the Mustang. Alon Sarkov in the BMW. Mickey Taylor in the Ferrari 296. Followed by Simon Cussat and Thomas Hagen in the Tribute livery. But as we start to roll, we start to go. It's time for the final wave of our starting grid. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get ready to rock and roll as we start the final race of the ERA Sunday Championship here at Brands Hatch. It is Christoph Peterson, followed by Ernest Lundbriggs, Stephen Milano, James Mahayath Musa. Jude Neville is still stopped big time. He's actually come to a big stop. David Scrudon in 6th, Darius in 7th, Paul Fenter, Christian Goff, Lewis Knight, Thomas Morton, Finn van Holland, Flo Scup, Chris Wall is a little bit further down. So it does look like we've lost one of our cars. Interesting to see how this is all going to work. So, Peterson out in first, Lundbriggs in second. There is going to be a huge run. Michael Castro going and saying this is going to be a fun one, sitting out on the grandstands. And Damien Roney also super excited. Good to see you guys here. Big shout out to our grandstands. Glad to see you guys going and getting ready and getting excited. It is looking rather dry out on track, and we are going to see some very close racing for an hour and 30 minutes on a personal favorite track. Brands Hatch is one of these circuits that I feel is technical. It is short, technical, it's got you on the top of your feet, and you've got to be willing to push 110% the whole time. The margin of error is so little that you have got to be on your best behavior to ensure you go for the win. Are you going to back down from the fight? Are you going to let the championship go? Well, this is all that's running through the minds of our drivers as they line up side by side for the final time of the ERA Sunday Championship 2024, and we are lights on, waiting to go lights off, set to go, waiting once more. as they make their way to the line. Come on, come on, come on. Let's get ready to go green here at Brands Hatch for round 7. The final round of the ERA Sunday Championship kicks off with Peterson off to a great run, but take a look at Ernest Lundqvist around the outside, trying to carry a lot of momentum down Podium Hill. Mike Musa getting a little bit unsteady as he makes his way down Podium Hill side by side with Stephen Milano James. Hugging that inside line, sweeps across the nose, gets it beautifully hooked in. Mike Musa will have to be a little bit more cautious, waits his time, and now it is all about pushing that little bit harder as the drivers are now looking to step it up that little bit further. Darius a little bit further down. Christian Gott, David Scruton onto the back of him, trying to open up the run. Thomas Morton, Paul Fenter going and rubbing the nose of the Aston Martin as he pushes that little bit harder to get a bit more momentum away from Flo Scub. Lewis Knight leading out to our gold has immediately got Finn Van Hollen. Chris Wall getting the pass on Neil Greening, as Neil Greening now having to battle it out once more. Christian Goff getting ahead and now looks to try and maintain as David Scruton runs out wide, loses out that little bit of momentum. And unfortunately, looks like it may have been a bit of contact with the 178 that ran him out that little bit further. So let's go and see under braking. Late on the anchors, swings it through. And I don't think there was contact too bad. Yep, no, there is the contact. Never mind. Going and just giving that slight nudge. Moves him offline. And unfortunately, that's it. Oh, Scott Reynolds going and losing out. And David Roth as well getting caught up into that mess. So they're a bit further down the order and not quite ideally planned for that. Matthias Musa now looking to get a little bit of momentum. So currently in the pits, Rolotsky, Jude Neville, Nicholas Porras are all into the pit lane, serving their first pit stop for the 1 hour and 30-minute race here at ERA as they try and push themselves out a little bit further. Paul Fenter bouncing off the curbs, not very comfortable there. David Scruton coming on by, will look to really stand on the gas, looks around the outside, gets the pass done. Paul Fenter slots into the toe, and you can see Flo Scub trying to hold back Lewis Knight as they go and fight out for the likes of 9th position. And Lewis Knight hoping not to lose out too much time as Finn Van Hollen looks for the inside, couldn't quite get to work. Chris Wall around the outside, tried his best. Unfortunately, the dirt not providing the best attraction for the Aston Martin. And now Flynn having to keep it all together. Oh, as we do see that look to be Paul Fenter side by side with Flo Scub. Does lean on him a little bit hard there. Flo into the dirt, will now lose out to Lewis Knight and Flynn Van Hollen, who gets the brakes in. And it does look like Chris Wall, a little bit unsteady, tries to slot back in between them. Neil Greening going to go around the outside just to carry a little bit more momentum on the way through. Neil Greening needing to push that a little bit more. Chris Wall tries to get a little bit more put together as he takes down towards Podium Hill. And it's going to be an absolute launch to try go for the inside. Couldn't quite get it hooked in, and now has to maintain the gap. Try and push himself a little bit more down the road as they fight their way through. So Chris Wall dropping a little bit further back. Neil Greening in tow, trying to make his way through. Matt Gile, a little bit of side-on contact with Richard Oakes. Oh no, he's been turned around. Tries to bring it back and does, as we do see Richard Oakes gets the pass done and dusted. Matt Gile loses out to Mickey Taylor, and Milan Starkov tries to go around the outside. Mickey Taylor up on the inside, not going to back down from this fight, putting the little bit of lean onto the side of Matt Gile, who's got a bit of problems. He's going to be down straight line, but that Mustang is doing everything it can down the straight, hooks it into the corner, and just managing to keep Mickey Taylor at bay. Milan Starkov, though, sneaks in, gets the pass done and dusted by going and keeping on the racing line. That is absolutely well positioned. Thomas Hagen dealing with Ike Sky at the moment, looks for the inside line, also carrying a bit of damage to his car as he tries to go and push Ike Sky a little bit further. Jude Neville staying in tow. Oh, contact as Jude Neville caught out under braking. Thomas Hagen trying to save it, brings it back and gets himself back onto track. So that BMW not having an easy time out there. Milan Starkov getting stuck into a four-wide battle as we do see Richard Oakes going and trying to get past, but Milan Starkov around the outside, gonna go 3 wide through Podium Hill, not gonna work out. Mickey Taylor gets it sideways, but Milan Starkov goes and loses out. Mickey Taylor managed to save it. My heavens, as they charge their way through. I mean, this is going to be a huge running on the way through. So we're going to try it and figure out what happened to the 98 that happened at the start of the race, and see what exactly went on to cause the accident. So let's quickly go back a little bit. So this is the likes of Kurt Reynolds off the start of his race, and we getting information that was a little bit of chaos at the start. Well, let's see if we can... Oh my heavens, there's the chaos. 1, 2, 3. Oh, David Roth in the air. Okay, David Roth went flying. I've never seen a Mercedes do that other than going and seeing some monster impacts. Well, that's a nose in the air. A big shout out to our spectators having a chat to the marshals to give us a bit of info out on the track, and well, not quite what you want to see, as we do see Thomas Bolton trying to look for the inside of David Scrudon. Couldn't quite get the pass down and dusted, and we'll have to wait it out. So at the moment, leading out the pack is Peterson with a 4.5 second gap over Ernest Lundbriggs, who's now got Stephen Milano, James Mahayath Musa onto the back of him, really doing everything they can to stay in for the fight. This is going to be a huge run for them, as they carry a lot of momentum through. Stephen Milano James running in third has got Mahayath Musa. Now Mahayath needs to get this done and dusted. He needs to be closer to Peterson. He needs first place. Peterson needs first to beat out Mahayath Musa. Both will need that first place to ensure the championship is locked, loaded, and done. So Mahayath Musa needs to get past Lundbriggs and Stephen Milano James to go and take away the crowd to make history as the South African coming to ERA and looking to take the championship. Or will it be Christoph Peterson to retain the crown and become the longest running champion here in ERA Sunday Championship? So that is what's on the cards here. History to be made in our Diamond Division, as Mahayath Musa tried to go and take a look on the inside of Stephen Milano James, couldn't quite get hooked up and loses out the running. Darius has got Christian Goth going and pushing as hard as he can to stay for the fight as they make their way through. Christian Goth going and keeping 0.4 of a second as we do take a look on board with Christian Goth. And just looking a little bit further ahead, Mahayath Musa all over the back, a little bit of a tank slap of those. He does see Stephen Milano James run right to the curb. 4th gear, 5th gear, slipstream, gonna go for the inside. He needs to go for the lunge. He tries. Can he hold the apex though with a nose? Unfortunately, not able to do it. Gets a bit unsteady. A quick change to on the ABS and traction control just to try and pull himself back into the running. But very, very close running between them, trying once again, looking for that third place as Stephen Milano James onto the dirt, loses out, and contact! Contact! That is nightmare fuel. Stephen Milano James with a little bit of rear contact onto the left quarter. Went and turned Mahayath Musa around, dropped him way down the order, and now that has just promoted Darius up into 3rd, Christian into 4th, and now Stephen Milano James dealing with David Scruton, looking for the inside line as he tries to make his way through. He's looking to try and work out for the championship as he carries on by. Lewis Knight leading out our gold has got Finn Van Holland on the back of him to also make his way through. But David Scruton keeping the pressure on. Stephen Milano James with that little bit of contact to Mahayath Musa has dropped him way down the order. And Mahayath Musa is not going to be in huge smiling spirits for that one. He's going to have to really work hard. He's down in 9th position after a very close running. So a bit of contact between it, but knowing Mahayath Musa, he's not going to back down from the fight. He's going to get the bit between his teeth and push as hard as he can. That's what the Project Vapor team has been in South Africa. Well, that's what we've seen here in ERA as well. It is unlucky, but that is racing anything can happen, as Lady Luck can go and change things, much like our weather at the moment. Because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we go on board, windscreen wipers going on, we got a bit of rain and drizzle coming down. Expect the track conditions to turn into a very, very ugly situation for our drivers as they're getting tank slappers on the way through. Who is going to be running the tires a little bit deeper? Who's running softs? Who is running wets? Well, we're about to find out what is the strategy plans, as it's all been changed and now everyone's starting to have a bit more of a difficult time. We'll start to see the Rooster Tails starting to form as the rain comes down. David Screwdon tries to look for a pass on the inside of Stephen Milano James as they frantically keep it going. The BMW M4 GT3 now stuck on the outside is going to have a rough time. There's not going to be much grip here on the outside. Carries a lot of momentum. Understeer is going to be a problem. He keeps it side by side. A little bit of contact with Stephen Milano James as they still carry a bit of momentum through. Stephen Milano James just managing to eke ahead. And now Thomas Morton going for a look as well as they power their way through. The Mustang has come into the world of its own as they power their way on towards the start finish line, and it is going to be a wild race nonetheless, and many drivers are going to be looking at what they need to do to keep on going. Scott Reynolds now pulling into the pits. He is not done and dusted, as our weather alert saying this is going to be a heavy downpour to come around for the next 30 minutes, and it is going to be a monstrous one for the drivers to contend with, as we do see David Screwdon looks for the inside line, couldn't get the pass done and dusted. Thomas Morton, though, is put together a little bit more as he tries to carry a bit more momentum. Paul Fenter trying to deal with his nemesis, Mahiv Musa, as they fight their way through. Jude Neville, unfortunately, losing it and has got major damage to his car. I think possibly lost it out of the final corner and went and caught the wall. So this is Jude Neville as we go through the final corner. The rear end snapping out a little bit towards the dirt and nose to the wall. Not too bad of damage, but definitely going to be uncomfortable for the drive back. So he's going to have to be very aware of the situation for his drive. Couple of drivers pulling into the pits. Mickey Taylor into the pits. The likes of Rolodsky has done his first pit stop. Nicholas Porras was into the pits as well, but did not do what was required. So unfortunately, didn't count as his pit stop. Scott Reynolds, on the other hand, has done the first of his pit stop, so he is now trying to keep it going as Scott Porras looking to try and go around the outside. Gonna give him a little bit of free room there to go on the attack. As we go back to our battle 5th, 6th, and 7th, as David Screwdon tries to look on the inside line of Stephen Milano James. Side by side they go. The BMW may have just got it. Oh, that snap oversteer. Wington killed off that drive and now needs to keep up the momentum as he goes on towards the grass. It is very close between the two of them. Absolutely tooth and nail at this point as we go through onto the rear wing of Stephen Milano James, carrying a bit of momentum as they power their way through. And I'm just taking a look, the weather looking like it's just improved, and that is going to help like Scruton though. A little bit of contact. Oh no, Stephen Milano James has got it wrong. Sideways after that little bit of contact on the rear from David Scruton. Twisted Stephen Milano James. Thomas Morton's going to be quite happy with that one. Finn Van Holland though gets caught into it. Neil Greening, Chris Wall. Stephen Milano James unfortunately taking impact from drivers coming by. So this is unfortunately what happened. A little bit of contact on the rear, twisted him around, left him smack bang in the dirt, holding his brakes. There's Paul Fenter. Mahiath Musa comes on by. Lewis Knight, Flo Scub, and contact from Van Holland. Chris Wall going towards the dirt, but Van Holland's going to be going and dealing with major damage to his car, as that's not going to help out. Chris Wall is going to follow suit into the pits and just trying to carry a bit of momentum here, but Van Holland needing some serious repair work onto the car. Chris Wall a little bit got away unscathed in that fight. Miles Musa now up into 8th place, is still dealing with Paul Venter. Flo Scub dealing with Lewis Knight at the moment, who's leading out our golds as they fight their way through. So, taking a look at our class positioning, it is Christoph Peterson in 1st place, with Ernest Lumbriggs and Darius running 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of our diamond. Moving on to our platinum, so 5th place is David Screwsel running 1st of our platinums, Flo Scub running 2nd of our platinums, and Simon Kussert running 3rd of our platinums. Lewis Knight 1st of our golds, with Neil Greening lying in 2nd place of our golds, and David Young going and trying to close up that gap as much as possible as they make their way through. That is our 3 different classes. No, Miles Musa has lost it, stopped, and now needing to wait for the field. It was going so well, and unfortunately it looks like a bit of damage to the nose of the car as well. So what on earth happened? Let's go to the helicam and let's try and find out. Miles Musa starting to have that roost tail building up behind his car. That tells you how wet this track is going to be. Clips it onto the curb. Oh, snap oversteer, and oh, a little bit of a knock to the wall. Not too bad, but definitely going to take out some of the bite there. Running slicks didn't quite work out for him. He's going to be switching over to those wet weather tyres now, as we do see pit lane starting to get a bit more busy. Paul Venter into the pits. Flo Scub, Darius, Lewis Knight, Neil Greening, Christian Goch, along with David Screwdon, Ernest Lumbriggs, all into the pit lane, and now going and serving their pit stops, trying to get it done and dusted to ensure that they can carry on the race. Christoph Peterson carrying a little bit more pace underneath him. Thomas Moulton running in 2nd place, and David Young running in 3rd. Now, I do want to point out, David Young now leading our gold champion, our gold runners, along with Matt Gall in 2nd place. But Milan Starkov all over the back of him. The BMW still fighting with the Mustang, getting a bit of a tank slapper on the way through. Team Rwanda going and really putting in the fight against Matt Gall of Team Brr as they fight their way through. Christoph Peterson into the pits now, as they're all going and taking a very, very gentle drive in this bit of momentum as they fight their way around this very, very difficult circuit with these conditions that are absolutely treacherous for most. And that is starting to build up and show a bit more as Matt Gall fighting with his car to keep it in check. David Young, though, into the pit lane, now trying to get it all sorted out, as we do see Nicholas Porras in the Aston Martin going to carry on his drive. Alon Starkov a little bit further down, lying in 4th place, carrying a bit of momentum. But take a look, Ernest Lumbriggs now trying to make a bit of momentum as he gets past Matt. He's on rain tyres now, and you can see how much more grip it's got underneath him. Darius will be chasing down, but Ernest Lumbriggs in the 488 Evo, a car that is left to history here at ACC, and now going and showing off what it can do with its naturally aspirated V8 as they power their way around, getting chased down by the screaming V10 of the Audi R8 Evo 2 of Darius. And you can see how aggressive they can start taking the corners a little bit more as they try and push themselves that little bit more down the road. So only drivers needing to get their first of their pit stops done at the moment. Oh, Darius with a huge tank slapper gets it all out of shape, and now will be within the clutches of David Screwdon, who goes for the inside line. Can't quite get the pass done as yet. He's going to try though. Puts his nose in, flat on the power. Has he got the grip though? Not quite to get the traction out, but now it's going to chase down. The slipstream's going to work, and that spray is getting bad as we jump on board with his helmet cam to just show you some of the visibility getting taken away as you run so close to your competitors. Down to 3rd gear, really trying to keep the power up. 140, 150, 170, 180, 200 kilometers an hour just as they start making their way through. That is the likes of Thomas Hagen that was stopped off on the side, and through the corner they go side by side. David Screwdon gets the pass done and dusted. So Thomas Hagen, unfortunately, in the wall Now I think that's because the rear stepping out on him and it lost out. So the 417, this is what happened to Thomas Hagen, running in 23rd position now. And going and really showing off what he can do. Sporting the Dan Hyde livery. Rest in peace. And catches the slide. A little bit of a kiss there. Not too bad. Couldn't bend the carbon fiber. But is still keeping on at a great pace nonetheless. Darius now running in 4th place. Is needing to try and pick up the pace. But take a look. Dave Screwdog, bottom of our platinums, will be moving in towards our diamonds next year, and that's really improved the running and looking to take home the victory and the championship if he can keep this pace. If he can remain where he is, it is a sure lock-in for him. Lewis Knight as well, trying to get that little bit more pace underneath him, trying to see if he can lock in the championship as well as they fight their way through. Lewis Knight needs to win and beat out Neil Greening properly, who is down in 3rd, to be able to take the championship. It's going to be a close call between them, but it is one that can be had. Davis Crudon, if he gets a win tonight, he will be the Platinum Champion for Season 12 here in 2024 ERA Sunday Championship. And Christoph Peterson, at current, can call himself a multiple-time champion who has many wins as Max Verstappen here at ERA. So we'll be walking away with it. Let's see how it can go, because the race has evolved in a way of knots as Mahiath Musa up on the inside of Richard Oakes, and Richard Oakes in the Rust Bucket Racing Porsche going and letting the Project Vapor BMW go and make his way through, as we do see Christoph Peterson turned round and now trying to get his way going. Ernest Lundbriggs goes and takes a position away from him and will be starting to open up. This is going to help Ernest Lundbriggs in the championship to ensure he stays in for the fight. And for Peterson, this is bad news in the Honda NSX as he tries to pick up the pace once again. David Scrudon, now seeing that there's blood in the water, will be chasing down and looking to close up the gap. So currently closest racing on circuit, Jude Neville to Mickey Taylor, who has done a fantastic job for the racing team Turkey, has been really stepping on the pace. And Jude Neville trying to close up that gap. Scott Reynolds, though, into the dirt, trying to get a little bit of traction, though, letting everyone go by on a very slippery surface. Paul Fenter just going and creeping on by, says thank you very much. The 178, though, that's David Scrudon. What on earth has happened to the 178? This is bad news for him. So what on earth happened? Make his way through, 3rd gear, okay, that's fine. 4th gear, in through the right-hander, over the curb, a little bit too much. No, stalled out, moved over. No. Oh my word, folks. We have just witnessed a bit of a problem for David Scruton. He stopped off on circuit and has now retired the car. That has absolutely taken him out of the running and will be a very detrimental effect to his race. Well, I mean, he's out. David Scruton is out of the race, folks. And that means, at current, Flo Scub, if he gets 1st place, if the Fast and Feathered gets 1st, if he beats out Simon Cossack, he will take the platinum win. He will win the championship. For Skurt Reynolds, unfortunately, a little bit further down, it's not going to help him. But at current, Flo Scub needs to push and get ahead of Simon Cossack to take the championship in platinum. What have we just seen? What has gone on with the likes of that BMW? Taylor was doing so well. What on earth happened to the driver? That is what I'm trying to figure out at the moment. This has really turned the entire championship onto its head and has flipped the script of note. I mean, this has just become a race of note for a lot of the running, and we have just witnessed a big change where unfortunately it's going to be a loss. Mahith Musa getting past David Roth. Neil Greening now trying to launch his way through. David Roth keeping it all together. Remember, David Roth a little bit earlier was airborne, staring at the sky not too long ago. Ike Sky a little bit slow, allows Milan Starkov to get on by. Paul Venter chasing down Thomas Morton and doing everything he can. Simon Kusat is in 8th place. If Lewis Knight gets ahead and slows down Simon Kusat, even by the smallest of margins, that means Flowscub has an opportunity to go and do it. David, it has been spoken out there in the virtual grandstands. The shock and awe has definitely bled through to everyone. David Scruton, one of our skilled drivers who was running 3rd overall, let me remind you, has retired the car. Unknown reasoning. We're going to try and find out what happened during the course of that, because it always looked like it was going fine. He then slowed down, pulled off the circuit completely. It was in a controlled manner. That was not a mechanical failure. That was extremely controlled to get it off the circuit, and then unfortunately retiring the car. Simon Kusat a little bit sideways, though. This is the worst nightmare for him, because Lewis Knight has just got past him, which now brings Flowscub 4.4 seconds closer. Flow needs to win this. Flow needs to win this to take the championship. Fast and Feathered needs to hammer it, and I think the team is now radioing in. Go, go, go. Push, push, push. To take the championship, you need to go for it. So at the moment, we will see Peterson take the championship, Lewis Knight take the championship, and Flowscub in the final race will take the championship. Unless something goes detrimentally wrong for these drivers, it is all or nothing. No, Flow is getting it all types of wrong, pushing way too hard to close up to Simon Kusat, now going and having mistakes creeping in. Simon Kusat, who is on the drive, can be the linchpin on this one. He can absolutely be the linchpin. Simon needs this win to move up into the top 10, heading towards the top 5 of the Platinum Championship. If he wins, he will be heading towards the top 5 of the championship just by winning. If he loses, though, if he loses a spot, he will get into the top 10, but will allow Flowscub to take this championship. That is what we're witnessing right now. Paul Venter all over the back of Thomas Morton, and these two are literally fighting for position. Paul Venter's in 12th in the championship, and Thomas Morton is running 11th. So this is for championship position, as we do see the Mustang getting out of shape, very close. Paul Venter up on the inside, gets the pass locked in, now needs to utilize all the power out of that V8 that's got a little bit of Aston Martin, a little bit of Mercedes, and a whole lot of grunt with a bit of English power, trying to break away from the pure American, the red, white, and blue. And Thomas Morton in that Mustang, trying to utilize all the sounds of the Bald Eagles, screaming by the F-16 jets, the works, coming to beat Paul Venter, who is literally going to be sipping on a bit of tea here to make it work. Ike Sky into the pits, and a little bit of contact on the way through, catching the pit wall. Unfortunately, the Bentley a little bit wider than once thought. 26 cars. David Scruton is back. Ladies and gentlemen, just to point out here, this is big. David Scruton is back into the server. He is back to get in that car. Whatever has gone wrong, he is going to get it across the line. Win, lose, or draw, he will see the checkered flag. That is what I love to see. Go, go, go. Get back in the car, buddy. Get back in the car. Finish it the way you need to. And who knows, it may be a bit of a change. If Flo gets it wrong and drops out, that means he's done. that will be it. Sorted out, locked in, out of the way. Simon Kusat, oh, major tank slapper for him, trying to catch up to Lewis Knight, and Flo doing everything he can to just keep it together. I'm keeping an eye to the pit wall for the Marlboro coloured BMW, as we do see Finn Van Hollen onto the back of David Roth, trying to push his way a little bit further. So as we now out of 30 minutes completed into the final hour, it is Ernest Lundbriggs in first place. Lying in second is Christoph Peterson, Darius in third, Christian Goff, Paul Fenter, Thomas Moulton, Chris Wall, Lewis Knight, Simon Kusat, Flo Scott, David Young, Mahath Musa into 12, is still pushing as hard as he can. Neil Greening in 13, 14, Finn Van Hollen, David Roth, Richard Oakes, Milan Starkov, along with Jude Neville, Mickey Taylor, Matt Gile, along with Thomas Hagen, Christoph Rolotsky, Nicholas Porras, Ike Sky, Scott Reynolds, and David Scrudon still waiting in pits to be released. Come on, David, get that car out, come on. The whole crowd is supporting you, buddy. Jude Neville has Milan Starkov side by side as they push their way through. This is going to be a pass for Jude Neville, getting it done and dusted. Milan Starkov looks towards the inside line, and unfortunately couldn't quite get that pass done and dusted. We'll wait it out as Nicholas Porras gets past David, likes of Richard Oakes, and immediately Jude Neville trying to capitalize on it. Side by side, Jude tries, and will it be enough to be a sneaky little pass? Well, it may have just been, as Richard Oakes drops down, Jude Neville has it, and Milan Starkov says, well, it got it done, now my turn. Taking a send on the Porsche, couldn't quite get the pass done and dusted, but a sneaky little move worked out for Jude Neville. Milan Starkov onto the back of Richard Oakes, trying to do it. Oh, huge tank slapper for Richard Oakes as he crossed on into the side of Milan Starkov, losing out that position as they make their way to Podium Hill. He's going to try and keep it around the outside, look for a bit of an undercut, and unfortunately not to be the running. Will charge their way down towards turn 2, and that Porsche looking rather unsettled on the way. So drivers looking to step up the pace and really keep it going. David Scrudon still waiting in the pits to try and get back out on track. We need to see that car get back out on track. It needs to happen. He needs to see the checkered flag the way he is. 27 cars started this race, and 26 still remain out on the track. Stewards are going to be rather busy looking at some of the incidents here that we have witnessed. As we see Matt Gile gets it all types of wrong, saves it from not getting into the wall. Looks like a bit of contact between himself and Mickey Taylor though. So let's quickly go and take a look at it. So Mickey Taylor in the Ferrari 296 that's currently on screen, as we see Peterson trying to get on by. Quick flash of the lights, takes a look up on the inside. Mickey Taylor minding a bit of room and immediately has the likes of Matt side by side. Oh, bit of contact moving back, and side on contact with Matt dropped him down. ICI trying to get himself going after a spin as well, but is still keeping on, thundering on at current. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Scott Reynolds going and still keeping up the run. But what on earth has happened? No, it can't be the case. It does look like we have lost the likes of David Scruton. Oh my heavens. He is out. Let's see if we could try and get him on the line. So David Scruton, we've gone and sent him a personal message. Going and actually did have mechanical failure in terms of a black screen the first time round. He moved across to the side, and that is going and doing it really nicely well done. PC unfortunately bottomed out, tried returning once again, and it died yet again. So we have sent a personal message out to him, see if we can possibly have a bit of a chat with him and bring him in, because even though that all has gone wrong for the driver, I think it's well deserved, and I think everyone wants to have a chat to him. I know it is a gutting run after holding on to the championship for so long and ending up with this. So he does also send a bit of a sorry to the likes of Stephen Malone and James for the contact. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, joining us in the commentary box, and we're going to have him coming up to have a chat to us. Please welcome our guest tonight. Not quite the way he wanted to finish the championship, but man oh man, we gotta talk about the absolutely amazing driving throughout the season. Has been the leader of our Platinums, and I firmly believe come 2025 will be our next champion for our Diamonds. David Scruton. David, sorry for how it all ended. Take us through what happened, bud.
Yeah, my screen just went black, man. So yeah, it's just really unfortunate. I had this problem before, and for some reason it didn't happen for a long time, and then now again it happened. Like at the worst moment, basically. So yeah, that's really sad.
It had us all with our hearts in our mouths after it, and you know, you have been just improving race after race after race. This season, you really came into your own. If you had to look back and reflect to the season that you've had throughout 2024, from the start to current, I mean, there has definitely been a jump in your performance, and I'm sure that's something that's been sitting on the mind.
Yeah, definitely. Like in the beginning, I just tried to take it easy, and honestly, I didn't really know where my pace was, so I just took it easy, and then every race I was like practicing a little bit more as well, and yeah, improving, and also trying a bit more my best every race. So yeah, it definitely has been upwards hill, yeah.
Well, looking at the championship, you still will be in the top 3, which is well done for the Platinums. But to be one of the Platinum drivers, to take the fight to the Diamonds and literally take the fight on multiple circuits, you've proven yourself as a very, very capable driver. But the team support, the spectators out there really getting behind you, and I've go through some of the messages that come through, just asking what's gone on, checking if you're okay, supporting you on your championship endeavors, really getting behind the Marlboro colors and really getting behind the BMW. Is there anything you would like to say?
Yeah, thanks to everyone. Yeah, I mean, thanks to everyone, and honestly, it's just been a really nice experience to start with this league racing stuff. So yeah, that's nice.
Well, I mean, it's been an incredible one of note, and here at ERA, it's been super impressive. We actually got a message from Christian Fengler going and saying, sorry for the bad luck that has happened, but congratulations on all the fighting in the championship. Really looking forward to seeing what you can do in the future, and looking forward to calling you champion. That's straight out from the top of ERA, going and just...
Oh, that's nice to hear.
So, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, very nice to hear.
Well, David, anything you would like to say to the fans, to our partners here at ERA, to the drivers, teams, families, and absolute petrol heads who are standing out in the rain at Current, going and watching the phenomenal racing that we go on track as we see the fight for Christoph Peterson and Ernest Umbrix, which is the battle for first place overall, 25 laps in. Anything from your side that you would like to say to everyone out there? And the floor is yours.
Yeah, just thanks to everyone, and I hope that everyone watching still has a nice time. I mean, there's still a nice battle, and I hope Flo Scope doesn't take the win, but we'll see.
Well, at current, he is 1 second off Simon Kusat, so it's all in the running hands of Simon Kusat to take away the win, because that's the only way Flo is going to beat you.
Really, I thought he had to have like maybe 4th or 3rd, and it was already done.
Not quite. If he doesn't get this win, because of the drop rounds, this is going to be the tough time here. So, at current, 0.4 of a second, and Simon Kusat's holding back. Thomas Hagen moving out of the way, but it's absolutely phenomenal charging on your side. Well done for the championship. We look forward to seeing you. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, can we have a huge round of applause, huge amounts of support. David Scruton, absolutely well done. And I don't think you can call yourself Mr. Sandbags anymore.
No, I don't think so either.
Well, look forward
Thanks,
to calling
man.
you champion. Have a great one, David Scruton.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Well, it is all on for a charge. Simon Kusat having the hopes and dreams in the bag here. As Flowscup running in 2nd place. Now pushing as hard as he can to try and take the victory. And we also take a look at a bit of support coming from across the waters. Saying, go Taylor, go Mahath Musa, fellow South African watching. Going and supporting the fellow countryman on the way through. Nicholas Porras into the pits. Getting himself sorted out, and it looks like major repair work being done as we see Christoph Peterson and Ernest Lumbrix fighting out between one another, and this is going to be some close racing as the 488 has been the strongest of the BOPs currently in ERA, but Christoph Peterson really looking to fight his way through as they give it everything they got. Darius landing a bit into the dirt, trying to get a little bit more momentum underneath him as they fight their way through. As we're seeing 2 fights for class positioning. Ernest Lumbrix and Christoph Peterson, and Flowscup with Simon Kusat at current. This is going to be a wild race. All still needing to complete their mandatory pit stops. But Richard Oakes down in 18th needs to complete 2 of his mandatory pit stops. Nicholas Porras and Ike Sky have completed their pit stops. Done, dusted, finished, get it to the end. That is what's on the cards for them as they push a little bit harder. Christoph Peterson running in 2nd, trying to look for a launch on the inside. Can't get the pass done and dusted as yet. Going to have to wait it out a little bit more as he gets onto the power. Ernest Lumbrix getting all sideways, getting out of shape as the 488 looking to get a little bit of momentum. Peterson up on the inside, really trying to carry as much pace as possible. Lumbrix going and closing off and ensuring they can stand for the fight. 0.2 of a second is all about who's got the grip here, as we do see Ernest Lumbrix though trying to close the door a little bit, and a quick flash of the lights. Peterson just warning, hey listen buddy, we got to keep the cars width between the two of us. You can't just put the squeeze, you're gonna have to play it nicely here. But these drivers are elbows, knees and toes into one another to ensure they can keep up the fight. And Peterson looking to extend his wins here tonight to carry the #1 on the car for ERA for another season, as Christoph Peterson now 0.5 of a second behind Simon Kusat, dealing with Flowscup. Mahath Musa now joining into the party. Jude Neville has lost it though as he waits, as we do see our leaders come by, and that has unfortunately gone and lost him a few positions. So Jude Neville going and pointing the wrong direction. The 297 car also now out of the race. It looks like Jude Neville's retired the car. That is not what we wanted to see, and is unfortunately out of the running as it stands. Peterson having a look around Ernest Lumbrix at the moment, sees where he can get on by, can't quite get the momentum as yet. Gonna try and look to lunge it on the brakes, couldn't quite get the pass done and dusted, and we'll have to wait a little bit further into turn 3, turn 4. And I don't think he's going to be pressurizing too much at the moment. He's going to just keep it all in order, not wanting to burn the tires out at this point, as they've done a bit of a tire change on both cars. Flo Scub seeing Mahath Musa closing up at a rate of knots. Mahath Musa looking to try and stabilize the points of the championship for the Diamonds. Remember, Ernest Lumbriggs is on 62 points. A win here tonight will bring him a lot closer to Mahath Musa. If Mahath Musa stays where he is, he needs to get within the top 5 to ensure that Ernest Lumbriggs cannot go and score. So what's sitting in the bag here for Ernest Lumbriggs is 2nd place in the championship. This is going to be a huge run for him. If he wins here tonight, he can hold 2nd place if Mahath Musa finishes in 11th. So if Mahath finishes down the order, Ernest Lumbriggs in 1st means that we will see a change for 2nd as Flo Scub allows likes of Mahath Musa by. Now it's time for Simon Kusa to get it as Mahath Musa needs to put his nose in. Flo Scub is going to try and keep close onto the tail here. Musa pushing as hard as he can. Will look to try and get past without losing too much time as he launches his way through over the curves, a little bit unsteady for Simon Kusat, and Mahath Musa tries to look around. Flo Scub getting caught out as a bit of concertina effect creeping in. The rain still pouring down. Mahath Musa looks on the inside, backs out of it, second guesses the choice. Will carry the momentum through the final corner, not looking towards pit lane. Flo Scub losing a lot of drive. Simon Kusat very defensive on the inside. Now looking to try and hold it through Podium Hill. I don't think this is helping him out at all, as he's fighting full position for Simon Kusat. His run is what's behind him. Flo Scub can be that pass to go and break him in the championship. Christoph Peterson all over the back of Ernest Lumbriggs as they see David Roth, our now going and qualified Air Force pilot, going and jumping into the air and no longer going and just keeping wheels on terra firma here at Brands Hatch. I think he's the only one to become a pilot. Christoph Peterson tries to look for a way past as he does see Ernest Lumbriggs losing out a little bit of traction. Now this has helped him out. Heading into turn 2, late on the brakes. Ernest Lumbriggs, so slamming the door shut to keep it all sorted out and still keeping that bit of momentum through. Peterson is now hunting, bigging and looking for any way by, but Lumbriggs doesn't want to give up this first place. A win here tonight is huge for the championship for him. Mahath Musa trying to look for a way by, looks for the inside, and he tries to bait a move as well. As we see, Mickey Taylor and Nicholas Porras have completed all their pit stops and will be continuing on the drive. Mahath Musa, 0.2 of a second, looks around the outside of Podium Hill, trying to go for launch on by, maybe for a possible undercut. No, too far on the left-hand side, can't get it all sorted out, carries the drive, turn 2, second guesses it. Really just fighting. Simon Kusat runs out wide. Flo Scub immediately trying to take a look and see if he can capitalize on the running order here. Simon Kusat runs out wide. This is utterly big moves in play. Simon Kusat runs out wide. Flo Scub back into contention. Has now got Simon Kusat onto the back of Mahath Musa. Now Mahath Musa will be providing a bit of work here by utilizing a bit of a tow. Flo Scub moving out of the way, not wanting to get caught up in the spray too much as they fight their way on. As we see Richard Oakes a little bit further, keeping a bit of pressure on as he tries to move his way forward. So they are catching up to a bit of back markers at current as we go on board with Christoph Peterson side by side around the outside, late on the anchors, trying to battle his way through as we see Ernest Lumbriggs understeering him a little bit. Quick switch to the inside line. Not able to get on by, and Peterson now needing to really battle his way through. Looking to stay in for the fight as he slides his way around. Couldn't quite get it all hitched in. Ernest Lumbriggs doing whatever he can at current, fighting his way through. That Gale into the pits, trying to get himself sorted out for the final pit stop, as we see the battle for overall first place coming down to this. Christoph Peterson look for the inside line and maybe possibly thinking, do I need to change my pit stop strategies here to ensure I stay in for the fight, or I'm going to run out a little bit further. Close Cup for Simon Kursat. Still these two fighting it out, and for Flo's Cup, this is a huge run for him. A win here tonight is the championship. Thomas Hagen losing our momentum as Rolotsky comes on by. Rolotsky with a bit of damage to the nose of that Lamborghini. Defends the inside line. Immediately Thomas Hagen trying to battle his way through. Not able to get that past done and dusted. Flo Scup still keeping the pressure on to Simon Kursat, and Christopher Peterson on to the back of Lumbrix. David Roth just ahead of him as they have to power their way through. This is going to be a huge run. Darius into the pits, Paul into the pits, Mayath Musa still out on circuit. So this is going to be interesting for the final stops. David Roth may be the huge factor here running here for our leaders. As we jump on the rear wing of him, you can see how Ernest Lumbrix trying to close up the gap. Christoph Peterson on the toe, trying to keep it all going. And this is what he's going to have to deal with. Once the door opens, it is all or nothing for the two of them, as Peterson trying to battle his way around. Looks to go for the inside line, not going for the pits. Couldn't quite get for the inside line, has to switch to the outside. This is going to be side by side into Podium Hill, carrying a lot of momentum. Lumbrix going and keeping it all firmly put together as they slide their way through. Peterson just going and narrowly keeping it alive. Will have to try and figure out another way through. Looks for an undercut. Couldn't quite get it sorted out as he's trying everything, throwing everything at the wall. Flo Scup into the pits and out. Simon Kursat into the pits and out as they are done and dusted with their pit stops. Darius is done with his pit stop. Neil Greening is done with his pit stop. Matt Gale along with Mickey Taylor, Nicholas Porras. But now for our lead, side by side they go, charging their way through. It's a 488 on the inside, will have the advantage. Christoph Peterson slides it in, trying to go for the inside line. Couldn't quite get it all hitched in, couldn't get that pass done and dusted, and now looks to try and chase down the likes of Ernest Lumbrix, who pushes himself a little bit further. Tim the cameraman trying to get all the action in as they fight their way through. Late on the anchors, launches him for a bit of a pass, couldn't quite get it. Got the run on him though. Looks for the inside, that's not going to work. Lumbrix keeping a very defensive center line. Will carry a lot of pace underneath him, dives into the pits. Peterson gets on by. Peterson now needs to keep up the momentum. This has turned it all on its head. Mayath Musa though, how is he going to figure this one through? Simon Kursat losing out the drive is now side by side with Flo Scup and may get the pass done and dusted. Flo Scup looks up on the inside. This is a race to the end. 36 minutes to go, and it's all or nothing for our drivers. And now Simon Kursat back into the lead of our Platinums with Flo Scup in second place. Trying to keep it all together, getting a bit of a tank slapper. That's Christian Goff. They're running a little bit ahead, and now he is going to see these two fighting it out behind him and saying, I don't want to get too involved with your little battle. I've got my own. I'm running second in class. Thomas Morton now third in class. Lewis Knight though pushing a little bit further, leading out our gold division, lying in fourth. Mayath Musa up into fifth. This is big running for him. He needs to keep a very close eye on the likes of Ernest Lumbrix, who is now in sixth position and has completed all these pit stops. For Mayath Musa, this is a matter of keeping second place in the championship. This is no longer racing for first. This is gonna be a huge run and is going to be a massive race nonetheless. So this is going to be a monster of a run for the drivers. Paul Venter trying to go around the inside of Finn van Hollen. Beautiful running and gets it all hooked in. Paul Venter gets around Finn van Hollen, who was part of an earlier incident and lost out a bit of a run. So this is going to be a huge run for him. He landed up with a bit of nose contact up against one of our cars a little bit early on. Flo Scub pushing onto the back of Simon Kussat, who's caught up behind Christian Goth. So Christian Goth now creating a horrible little concertina effect. Simon Kussat is a little bit stuck, playing piggy in the middle at the moment. Quick flash of the light saying, please let us on by. He tries to sneak on the inside, gets it done. Christian Goth undercuts him, gets it all sorted out as they power their way through. Flo Scub tried to look, lining him up side by side, getting boxed in at the moment. Christian Goth, though, going and just coming off the gas, and Flo Scub, unfortunately, having a difficult run nonetheless. This is going to be a proper run for him. It's all about the pride to get the win for the final race. Flo Scub needs to do everything he can. The 417, though, has come to a stop. That's Thomas Hagen out on the final corner, trying to get the car turned round as he does so. But that has not worked out in his favour. Lewis Knight, though, trying to get the pass on Thomas Morton, who's got a bit of damage to his car. Number 21 suffering a bit there. Lewis Knight gets chucked out wide. Mahiath Musa, though, looks to try and get his way through. Switch round, looks for the inside line. And this is going to be a charge for Mahiath Musa, as Thomas Morton is class position. He gets on the pass. Lewis Knight gets it. Unfortunately, Thomas stuck on the outside. No grip, plus damage to the front aero has thrown him out. So this is going to be a huge factor coming in. Bit of information bleeding in from our grandstands. Good to see that it's coming in. Big shout out to you guys. And saying Flo Scub has to get fourth or better. That goes and confirms what was being said by the likes of David Screwdon to be able to get the championship. Well, at the moment, he will be taking the championship, but a sense of pride is also cracking in to get the win nonetheless as they power their way through. And also the likes of Peterson needing to push a little bit more. Skirt Reynolds, though, unfortunately turned around the Mustang, coming just into shot after a little bit of a spin. Clipped the dirt down the podium hill and trying to rejoin the circuit as the rest of the field coming through. Nicholas Porras will be seeing a very slow Mustang on the apex, and that is going to be a little bit of a rough time for him as they keep on the momentum. Chris Ward getting the pass on Thomas Morton. David Young into the pits. Simon Kussat keeping the gap between himself and Flo Scub at current as they push their way through. Matt Earl a little bit further down with Thomas Hagen trying to chase him down. So take a look. 32 minutes ago, it is Christian Goff, Mahiath Musa, Lewis Knight, Christoph Peterson, Ernest Lundbriggs, along with Darius in 6th, 7th position. Paul Venter, Chris Wall, Simon Kussat, Flo Scub, David Young coming out of the pits. Thomas Morton sitting in pit lane. Neil Greening will take that position. Christoph Rolotsky running in 14th position. Finn van Hollen very close onto the back of him as we do see the pass getting done and dusted as Finn van Hollen gets it past the likes of Rolotsky, who landed into the dirt. Milan Starkov running at 16th, 17th back goal. Thomas Hagen, Mickey Taylor, Richard Oakes, David Roth, and Skirt Reynolds, Nicholas Boris, and Mike Sky rounding out the pack at current as our drivers look to give it everything they got, pushing that little bit more, trying to get that little bit more momentum underneath them. This is going to be a huge chase right down to the wire as Christoph Peterson sees the likes of Mahiath Musa ahead of him. Mahiath Musa knows that first is out of the running for him, but Ernest Lundbriggs is where it all can be won or lost for him. Mahiath Musa not going to back down from the fight, is going to defend as Peterson swapping around. These two are going blow for blow at one another, charging their way through, and it's flat on the gas for Peterson. Try to go around the outside, try to go around the inside, couldn't quite get it all sorted out. Mahiath Musa keeping the defense at the moment as he tries to open up the gap. 4.3 seconds back from Peterson is Ernest Lundbriggs. So the more that these two argue and fight with one another, the more of a detriment it actually unfolds
for Mahath Musa, as he will slip down the order even worse than planned. So Mahath Musa going and ensuring that if Peterson is to get the win, he needs to earn it. He needs to fight. Holds the inside line. Peterson around the outside, heading towards Podium Hill, turn 1. And it's going to be a huge run for the likes of Peterson to try and keep it all together, because Ernest Lumbriggs at the current moment can become that absolute huge factor. Paul Venter going and losing it out on circuit and dancing around out on the grass, not able to get himself going. Christoph Peterson is going to be having nightmare situations. Mahath Musa defending like no tomorrow, and he's in every right to do so. He is racing for overall position, but he still needs to do one stop. You don't have to play too nice with your competition, and these two are absolutely loving going to wars with one another. As Peterson looks for the inside line, going to go for a bit of a send here, late on the brakes, and Mahath Musa tried to go for a bit of a defense, couldn't work out. Peterson gets a pass, and Ernest Lumbriggs goes and snatches that position away. Lumbriggs now a lot closer to the likes of Peterson as they fight their way through 40 laps. And this is going to be a bit of a run. Oh, Lumbriggs into the dirt. And this is going to be an interesting one here for the likes of Peterson. If Peterson has a huge mistake and drops down quite a bit of positions, I mean, this is going like into 5th. He will actually land up with going down the order. For Mahath Musa, he was hoping to defend against Ernest Lumbriggs. Unfortunately, that could not happen. And now it is Christian Goff leading out the pack, needing to pit. Mahath Musa needing to pit. Rolotsky down a little bit further in 14th position, needing to pit. Thomas Hagen needing to pit, as we do see Lewis Knight stopped off on track. Not a good running for him, as here comes the rest of our drivers. David Young, though. Was that David Young? No, that was Mickey Taylor. Mickey Taylor launching off into the dirt and nearly became the Scud missile of note. So now David Young fighting out for class positioning out on circuit and forcing Lewis Knight to get a bit more defensive. Lewis Knight, seeing that David Young is lying in 9th in the position in the championship, this is not going to hurt too much there, but Neil Greening is on 86 points to Lewis Knight on 78. So Neil Greening will be going and saying, go David Young, go. Force that mistake, because if Neil gets ahead of Lewis Knight, he takes the championship. If Lewis Knight gets a win, he takes the championship. So this is where Neil Greening in 3rd place is in hot water to ensure that he can walk away with the championship. Apologies there. Christian Goff into the pits. Mahath Musa into the pits. As 26 minutes to go. Rolotsky, Hagen, Richard Oakes, Skurt Reynolds still needing to pit. As we see Rolotsky into the pits. Now trying to make his way through. Chris Wall up into 4th place, getting ahead of Christian Goff, just coming out of pit lane. And Skurt Reynolds just ahead of him. We'll see Chris Wall, blue flags being waved, and Chris Wall getting on by. David Young onto the back of Lewis Knight. So this is a difficult situation for Lewis Knight. He needs the win. Nonetheless, needs the win. Neil Greening down in 3rd is best for him to take the win in the championship. But, and this is a big one, if Neil Greening gets 2nd in this run, it will be all or nothing to the line. So as Lewis Knight looks up on the inside, getting past Thomas Hagen, and now David Young keeping the pressure on him, will continue to fight on as they do everything they can to really launch their way through to ensure that the fight continues. This is going to be wild. This is going to be crazy. This is what we love to see as our drivers will look to press on a little bit further. And I'm going to see to just try and calculate the points roughly. If Lewis Knight drops down, or if Neil Greening drops down, will he lose out the championship? We're just trying to take a look to see how this all works out, and quickly trying to look for points allocation, how they accumulated. So this is going to be a huge run for Lewis Knight to ensure he stays for the running order, and seeing if he can keep it all together. It does look like David Young has opened up the gap. Flo Scub, who is on a hard charge onto the back of Mahath Musa, ensuring that he can stay in for the fight and not to be caught out at the moment. Drivers needing to go and really fight their way through in a Slumbricks. 3.3 seconds at current, trying to really stand on the gas to get a little bit closer to ensure he can stay in for the fight in the championship. David Young keeping on to the back of Lewis Knight. Thomas Morton gets it all out of shape, and Thomas Hagen also out of shape on circuit as they make their way through. David Roth keeping the pressure on Rolotsky ahead of him as they continue to pile on the pressure and ensure that they can keep going. Hagen needing to pit, Richard Oakes needing to pit, and this is all running order for 23 seconds left of the race. Thomas Hagen now still needs to get into the pits with Richard Oakes, and that is going to drop them way down the order, taking huge gambling effects there. We did see both carrying a bit of damage early on as Lewis Knight runs out to the fringes of the circuit. David Young's going to have the inside line though. Side by side they go. Is it going to be enough though? As Hagen tried to look, David Young tried to look for the inside, and Lewis Knight just managing to creep in. So as we jump on board with Porsche 992 GT3R of David Young, late on the anchors, sends for the inside line, seeing that Simba all over the back of Lewis Knight in the Nissan GTR, the Repsol colours, and really trying to keep the power on. It's starting to dry up a little bit, not as much rain coming down as they're going to go side by side into the corner, and it does look like the Porsche 992 has gotten past. David Young taking that top 10. Lewis Knight in 11th position will continue on. Richard Oakes into the pits, Thomas Hagen into the pits. 44 laps completed by our leader, Christoph Peterson, with 22 minutes to go. Sam Kusa leading out our platinum. Flo Scub, second of our platinum. Christoph Rolotsky running third of our platinum. Christoph Peterson in first place of our diamonds. Ernest Lumbriggs in second. Darius running in third. David Young, first of our golds. Lewis Knight second. And Neil Greening in third as they try and push this a little bit harder. Trying to get that a little bit more momentum underneath them and ensure that they can stay in for the fight. As the IXI still waiting in pit lane to get going. And this is definitely, man, not a big fan of just sitting there, and will say, Mr. Sky, I know that you are watching, I know that you are listening. You need to get back out on circuit and see the checkered flag through. You need to see the final checkered flag of 2024. That's what needs to be done. Sitting in pit lane is definitely not how it's done. And after being one of the people going and talking in the driver's briefing about enjoying and getting to the end, well, I think you need to live to your own words, buddy. Lying in 23rd, yes, you're 26 laps down, but nothing stops you from going out on track for the final 20 minutes of the Sunday Championship Season 12 and the final Sunday Championship of 2024. Nothing keeps you away from that. So let's see if we can get him back out on track. Lewis Knight 1.3 seconds off David Young. Mahath Musa now closing up to Simon Kursat, who is trying to push a little bit harder. Lewis Knight onto David Young, who's made a bit of a mistake here, and Lewis Knight needs the win. He needs the win to keep on going. Looks for the inside, late on the anchors, couldn't get the pass done and dusted. Nissan GTR doing everything they can as we jump on board, heading towards Podium Hill. Turn 1, it's going to be on the outside. Find the driest line possible. Late on the anchors, nice gentle braking on the way through. Looks to try go for a bit of a pass towards turn 2. Was a little bit far back. Late lunge though, very late on the brakes. Terribly late on the brakes. And that has not helped us. We see David Young being a little bit unsteady. Simon Kursat losing out the run to Mahath Musa. Mahath Musa trying to get past Matt Guile at the moment, who is a blue flag car. Matt going to be lifting down the straight, I would presume, to allow Mahath Musa by. Does so into the corner, and that then holds up Simon Kursat, who goes and loses. So Simon, who is down in 8th position, into the dirt. Not going to help him out there. Lost of traction for the next 2 corners, that is for certain. And is now going to have to keep it all out on the running. Stuart Reynolds into the dirt, trying to keep himself going out on track. As we see Paul Fenter now trying to get that pass done and dusted. Hooks it by, gets it done, and now carrying on his merry way. So at the moment, closest battle, Christian Goff and Chris Wall, 1.8 seconds. David Young and Lewis Knight, 0.8 of a second. Rolotsky and David Roth, who went and was involved in that major accident off the start, is now 0.8 of a second between one another. As we've seen drivers push themselves out a little bit more as we enter the final 18.5 minutes left of the race. An hour and 30 minutes of racing will be done for round 7. Our final round here at the ERA Sunday Season 12 Championship, folks. It has been a championship that has gone down to the wire for all 3 classes here tonight. Our platinum, our golds, and most importantly, our diamonds have been decided into the last race of the championship. And that is going right the way through. And we have seen some great racing throughout the season, but we have also seen some huge events going and taking the entire championship and flipping the script nonetheless. As we did see, like David Scruton, absolutely incredibly quick driver, unfortunately losing out as he had mechanical failure taking him out of the race, and is now relying on Flo Scup making a mistake to throw him down the order to get Rolotsky and David Roth to get past him. That is a big call. I don't think it's going to happen, and they'll have to just keep it all in order as Matt Guile is going to deal with Flo Scup now, trying to look for his way by, and Flo now 2.6 off the back of Simon Kursat in the BMW we just saw disappearing out of frame. Rolotsky and David Roth still fighting it out. They might be in 17th and 18th position, but they are fighting it out for 3rd in class at current. And Rolotsky looking to try and hold on to it. David Roth, the American, looking to do everything he can to take the fight towards the sharp end of the field. Wants the 3rd place for the final round here at Brands Hatch. There's been one of the drivers that said, this has been a difficult circuit. Not quite sure what I'm going to do here. Well, if he can get 3rd tonight, it will put those voices to bed and say, look, I got it done. I got it dusted. I've become a pilot and still got that pass. Thomas Hagen, though, loses out the rear. Nicholas Proris gets on the pass, and Thomas Hagen down through Podium Hill. Lost out that bit of drive, and now is down into 21st position as we have lost another set of drivers down to 22 cars at current that are circulating the circuit. 27 starts of this race, and it's been all about who can get it across the line. How hard are you willing to work to get these cars across the line for the final time here at ERA for 2024? Well, David Roth is seeing how hard he needs to push to go onto the back of Rolotsky and ensure that he can put this Mercedes-Benz AMG worldwide onto the pass to Rolotsky of Barwell Motorsport, who is still fighting it out tooth and nail at the moment And this is going to be a close running between the two of them. It's actually a closest battle out on circuit for third in class. And Rolotsky is seeing that he has got David Roth coming up at a barrel of knots to him. Side by side, they look to go for 2 and 2. If David Roth can carry the bit of momentum down Podium Hill, doesn't look like it. It's Rolotsky getting the car all hooked up, and it carries a lot of the momentum through as we go on board and go to the helmet cam of David Roth. And it's good to see the helmet cam. You can see how much hard work that these cars are taking. The purple lights you see on the screen is ABS and traction control kicking in, as it's just trying to hold on to the traction control to keep it going. As the revs come all the way up, as they slide their way through, it's going to be hard onto the brakes again, and onto the brakes, traction control kicks in, and really leaning to try and keep it all in effect, and unfortunately losing a bit of time. Neil Greening, on the other hand, has now officially caught up to Lewis Knight, and this is Lewis's worst nightmare. This is what he wanted not to happen, and for Neil Greening, this is perfection. This is what he wanted. This is what he needs to stay in for the fight for the championship. Lewis Knight needed to be in first, with the likes of Neil Greening in third, to be able to take the win. At current though, Lewis Knight will finish up in second place on the finishing order, and for Neil Greening in the flickfloy.co.za, Eleanor, the Logistical Nightmare Racing Aston Martin, will be smiling ear to ear, because this is all he needs to do. Not to push any harder, not to go for a pass. This is all he needs to do, just keep up the momentum, as Chris Wall giving a quick flash to Thomas Hagen as Christian Goth trying to come at him. Mustang launching on the inside, as so close to Chris Wall as they fight their way through. 13 minutes to go. This is going to be a charge for Christian Goff. It is just to keep the momentum up at the moment, to ensure he stays in and gives it everything he's got. Remember, he's running fourth in the championship, with Darius, who's now third on circuit, running in fifth. Chris Wall is in sixth. This is a huge run, because between points, Chris Wall is on 42 points, Darius on 44 points, and Christian Goff sitting on 54 points on the running order. Simon Kusat trying to battle out. Flo Scub not able to keep the pass down and dust as they switch positions yet again for the platinum class. But Simon Kusat still keeping up a good bit of momentum. Flo Scub trying everything, throwing the absolute hammer at one another. David Roth getting it all out of shape. Closed up to Rolotsky, couldn't get the pass done and dusted, and now they're still keeping very, very close. Milan Starkov onto the back of Flynn Van Holland. They're still fighting for position as they're fighting for fourth in class. Christian Goff and Chris Wall going nose to tail. Christian trying to go around the outside of Chris Wall. He's going to hold defensive line, goes back to center, moves his way through. Richard Oakes is going to get these two barreling in for turn 2. Late on the anchors. Christian Goff tried to get that pass done and dusted, and still putting his nose in on the apex. Chris Wall able to carry a lot of momentum through. Still pushing as hard as he can to ensure he stays in for the fight. This is going to be absolutely mental. Christian Goff still doing everything he can to go for that fourth place, with Chris Wall just ahead of him. This has turned into a race of note for quite a few drivers. Lewis Knight, Neil Greening are fighting it out. David Roth onto the side of Rolotsky. He's going to go around the outside. Underseer is going to creep in, and that's not going to help out as he slides his way to the fringe of the circuit, having to back out before going and playing in the sandpit. Richard Oakes sliding the Rust Bucket Racing Porsche will now have Chris Wall all over the back of him. Christian Goth trying to make his way through. Richard Oakes into the dirt though, not wanting to get caught up into that fight. Also got a bit unsteady on the corner exit as they fight their way on. Stokes still just trying to keep the momentum. And as part of our remaining drivers to keep going, Scott Reynolds getting past Thomas Hagen, eventually getting that done and dusted. Neil Greening keeping the pressure on Lewis Knight now. And Milan Starkov. We have got fights all over the circuit, ladies and gentlemen. And it is turning into a bit of a wild one. Championships on the line. Championship positionings on the line. Lewis Knight seeing worst case scenario. What's happening here? Neil Greening will need to go and lose the rear of his car for it to help out as the 72 lands up in the dirt. Now 2 seconds off the back of David Roth. Milan Starkov, Finn Holland still chasing each other out nonetheless as they are looking into the final 10 minutes of the race. So first place is Christoph Peterson, Ernest Lumbriggs, Darius, Chris Wall, Christian Goth with a huge slide, Paul Fenter, Mayath Musa into 7th, Simon Kursat, Flo Scub, David Young, Lewis Knight, Neil Greening, Finn Holland, Milan Starkov in 14th, 15th, Matt Dahl. And going a bit further down, 16th, Mickey Taylor, David Roth, Christoph Rolotsky, Richard Oakes, Nicholas Porras, Scott Reynolds and Thomas Hagen running in 22nd position as they claw their way through, doing everything they can to keep the momentum up for the remaining 8 minutes and 56 seconds. It is all or nothing. It is now pride on the line for these drivers to see the checkered flag, the final of the 2024 here at ERA. It has been an incredible year. The growth, the explosion, the excitement here at ERA. And it has gone absolutely wild nonetheless in both our Server 1 and Server 2. There's been an increase of drivers joining in, being a part of the show. More and more championships coming in as Milan Starkov gets that pass finally on Finn Holland, comes across the nose of him. Now it is time for Finn to try and come back at him. Finn Holland tries to go for the outside line, can't quite get it all hooked up as Milan Starkov keeping a very defensive line on corner entry. Richard Oakes touching the dirt a little bit there, gets a bit unsteady, but managing to keep himself going. There has been such an epic growth here at ERA. It has gone through the roof. The racing has become so close between one another. We've had our endurance races with going and sharing with DGR and DSGR and HSR. It's been incredible with them as ERA with friendships built, rivalries had, and also saying farewell to our elite drivers. And it has been a great season. It's been a great year. Oh no, Thomas Hagen though, not having the best of runs, down in 22nd position, gets it out of shape. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, he is still out on track, nonetheless, pushing as hard as he can. In the name of Dean Hyde, oh, he slides it around, and catches it in the wall as well. Come on, Thomas, for Dean, get it across the line, fight the car, fight the circumstances, go, go, go. Ike Sky has pitted the car and is not coming out of that pit. He is going to rather sit and let it go. So eyes go to Thomas Hagen, carrying Dean's name on the car to see it through to the end, to get Dean to see the checkered flag, the final checkered flag here of ERA for the Sunday Championship, the final checkered flag of 2024. Come on, Thomas, you got this, buddy. As we see Christian Goth all over the back of Christian Wall, fighting it out, 5th and 4th, going at it, hammer and tong, knees and toes. It is now throwing the kitchen sink at one another, and it's Christian Goth leaning on the power. It is American brute force against the beautiful, the exquisite likes of the Aston Martin. It is refined versus brute. The beauty versus the beast out on track in these two cars and fighting for 4th in place. And at the moment, Christian Goth going and wrestling the beast to try and get it up on the inside of the beauty of the Aston Martin. It is the most current car against one of the oldest cars here in the sim as they fight their way through. Neil Greening taking on Lewis Knight is just keeping him busy. That is just keeping an eye on him, saying, listen, I don't even have to get the pass done on you. I'm going to sit there. But I do want to try and extend those points a little bit further to get into that top 10. And for that, he needs to get past Lewis Knight and David Young, who is 1.6 seconds up the road and is caught behind Matt Gall. This is just turning into fights all over in the final 4 minutes and 32 seconds before we see the checkered flag come out. And that will be Jim to give the final checkered flag on the call of Christian Fingler, sitting in the steward's office, being the race director. Christian Goth around the outside of Chris Wall, couldn't get it all hooked in, looks for the undercut, couldn't quite get it done and dusted. We'll have to wait out yet another lap. Chris Wall holding on to that 4th place. They are fighting for championship points here, ladies and gentlemen. This is make or break for them in the championship. But at current, Peterson will become the 4-time. Season 9 was a win. Season 10 was a win. Season 11 was a win. Season 12 will be a win for our Diamond class and will be the longest standing champion here at ERA Sunday Championship to get it sorted out, to get it done and dusted. Oh no, David Roth though gets it out of shape. Rolotsky gets the pass. Roth gonna fall down the order here. He has got major damage to that nose of the car as he tries to keep himself going. Christian Goth trying to make his way through. Side by side they go. All the momentum. There is no rain on sight. It is a damp track for our drivers. Is it raining? Nope, it is just damp of note. And now Chris Wall going and defending Christian Goth to the dirt to try and get by. Chris Wall launches his way up on the inside, forcing Van Hollen to just move out of the way. I don't think that was a excuse me please. That was a move. You have got no option. So Chris Wall in the Aston Martin Logistical Nightmare Racing. Christian Goth of the Grotsky Racing Mustang trying to keep up the momentum. Paul the Wolf enter with Mahath Musa chasing him down. Skurt Reynolds going for a bit of a pass on Paul around the outside. And that is going to be interesting because Reynolds is not backing down. He lost out the momentum. Musa goes and gets past. Flo Scum trying to go and have a bit of a run. Loses out a bit of drive after clipping the dirt there. And now just going to follow through behind our leader. Christian Goth keeping the pressure on Chris Wall ahead. Chasing down at the moment. This is going to be a bit of a wild one into the final corner. These tires are now starting to overheat. They are starting to become a bit more problematic for our drivers as they look to push themselves that little bit further through the race. It is all or nothing on the line for the championship, for pride, for glory, for Evolution Racing Academy Season 12 for 2024. This is it. If you want to go and put your name in the lights, if you want to etch your name into history, there's only one way you're gonna do it. Give it everything you got right till the last. For Mahath Musa, they would get radio comms coming in. Leader is on his final lap. Mahath Musa fighting his rival, Paul Fenter, as they go side by side into the corner. Mahath Musa getting the pass. Paul Fenter gets unsteady, gets uncertain, and now tries to keep going. David Roth, into the wall again. That car really second hand at this point. Now limping his way around. Christian Goth Chris Wall fighting their way through, nose to tail. Christoph Peterson making his way through. He's going to be smiling ear to ear on this one and just soaking it up at this point after such a battle throughout the championship. Will be going and fighting it out. Has lapped majority of the field. Peterson, with only a couple of corners to go, will have done it and has etched himself in history for Evolution Racing Academy. 1 season 9, 1 season 10, 1 season 11. Ladies and gentlemen, your season 12 Diamond Champion. It goes to Christoph Peterson. Has done it again to take the win. Ernest Lumbrix finishes up in second place and may have just done enough to go and take second in the championship. Darius chasing down, will get third as he makes his way through. Going to be smiling on that one, but the battle's still on. Chris Wall, Christian Goth, and only a couple of corners to go. David Roth fighting his way through. This is going to be a push for it. David Roth trying to keep off the dirt. Thomas Hagen moves off the dirt. Chris Wall going defensive. Christian Goth trying to do everything he can. 1 corner to go. Chris Wall, middle of the circuit. Goth around the outside. Has he got the momentum? The Mustang trying to go for it. Drag race through. And Chris Wall gets the pass. Done and dusted. Christian Goth will take 5th place. Chris Wall 4th. Mahath Musa takes 6th. Paul Fenter in 7th. Simon Kussat. Flo Scub has done it. Flo Scub has become your platinum champion for season 12. Absolutely well done. David Young in 10th. 11th is Lewis Knight, but unfortunately has lost out the championship. Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Greening, your champion for the gold for season 12. Absolutely well done for our drivers. What incredible efforts. What incredible time. And our drivers have done it. They have crossed the line. They have fought it. And Simon Kussat has come to a stop right by the checkered flag. And there we go. Giving us the burnout that is so requestedly needed. The donut, and has taken the win in class here tonight. What style, what grace, what fun, what a championship. That was just incredible nonetheless. Wow, oh wow, oh wow. So folks, as we get ready to interview our drivers that will be coming up to have a chat to us after such a monumental effort, we'll also be congratulating our champions for the season and the last of our champions for 2024 here at Evolution Racing Academy. It has been such a highlight. It has been such a championship. It's been such a year. And all the drivers have really earned their stripes tonight. As we take a look at some of the highlights in the running order here. Emotions, flying suit, the grandstands erupting with enthusiasm and how wild it has become out. And that was it. The final race of the championship. 3 different championships on the line. David Scruton, unfortunately unable to carry on, had to retire the car, and that allowed Flo to get the win here tonight for our platinum. And what a race, folks. What an absolute season of note. It's been a wild, wild one. So we waiting for our drivers to come through and have a chat to us. But let's just go back through the season. It's been a great race. We have had some of the closest racing here in season 12. going and battling it out. The biggest rivalries kicking in place, and it was turning into a huge, huge run for our drivers. But as we start having everyone coming through to come and have a chat to us, let's bring up, before we bring up our champions for this year, let's bring up a driver who scored 8th here tonight overall, first in his class, and will be smiling ear to ear on this one in the BMW that has had some of the most unfortunate luck in racing, but still somehow, some way brings the car across the line. Simon Kusa coming to have a chat to us. Simon, what a fantastic run here tonight. I mean, you've had a championship that's been up and down. You have had moments of a car that is more bent out of shape and more twisted than a South African cook sister, and more twisted than most runnings in the world. But you have come across first in class at Brands Hatch in the most difficult conditions in some incredibly close racing between yourself and Flo. How are you feeling?
Hello, Steve. Thank you for having me here. I mean, it was a tough season for me, and this race was like the cherry on top of the cake, I guess. It was fantastic. Thought they did a great job with following me, and yeah, I enjoyed it to the bits.
How tricky were the conditions out there in terms of having to defend? I mean, this was a rain on, rain off, damp to wet to drying up at the last. How was it being able to defend for so long and staying within that top 10 and really showing what you can do in that regard? But just the conditions out there didn't look like it was the best circuit to be on.
I mean, Brand's tight and heavy, difficult track for overtaking, and the rain, the spray that was coming into Flo's windshield. That's something that helped me, I guess. And I mean, Flo is a great driver, so he knows where the opportunities are and where are not. So yeah, kudos to him for being such a respectful driver.
Well, Simon, you got the win here tonight. You had such a championship. This win does lift you up in the points, though. And considering you were coming into the run a little bit further down, you were sitting, if I look on my point scheme, you were sitting 11th when you came into this last round. It'll definitely move you up into the top 10. But anything you'd like to say to the admin here at ERA, to our amazing supporters, to our amazing partners here at ERA, and also to the drivers, the teams, and the petrol heads that were standing out in the virtual grandstands in the pouring rain, cheering you all on, and really giving a good show.
All I can say is never give up, guys. Always try to keep it on the track. If something bad happened to you, go into pits and get back on the track. That's all it matters for the race.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Simon, congratulations on your victory tonight. Absolutely well deserved. Well done on your season to just keep your head in. Massive, massive respect. And I think every driver will be going and saying, well done. Go and enjoy the celebrations. You've earned the champagne. You saw the final checkered flag of 2024 for the class, and you took it with a win. Well done, buddy.
Yep. Thank you, Steve. Have a good night.
Good night. Well, absolutely incredible stuff. Well, one person that's going to be happy finished in second this time round, but is now your season 12 and the final of the champions for 2024. Moving into our platinum class. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for Flo Scub. Fast and Feathered has taken the championship. Flo, how are you feeling, buddy?
I'm absolutely stunned. I have no words. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling, dude. I have no words. I didn't expect this. Here we are. Let's fucking go.
You went in knowing that you had to be in fourth and the conditions were swapping out on you. You had David who charged his way up. If he got the win, that was it. You were done. You were dusted and would finish in second. When he was gone, when that all changed for you, what went through your head when suddenly you saw there's a BMW missing and you are fighting for first in class in the final race of the season in nightmare conditions on a circuit that people fear in the UK? I mean, this is just all going and mixing in to make a chaos cake but tastes so good with a cherry on top.
Yeah, it was an absolutely tough race. The conditions changing constantly. Greasy track, wet track, greasy track again, with the tires as well. And yeah, all of a sudden, like, I was just looking at it. I was just, like, I remember sometime at the race I looked at it and I noticed there's, like, no platinum somewhere on our lap with Simon and me. We were, like, the only ones on the lead lap. I don't know what happened there as well. I must have, like, I think spun or crashed out. But yeah, then and all of a sudden I looked on the order. I'm like, where's Shooten? What the hell happened? He was ahead of us the whole time. I know that. I think I got past him at the start at some point, but then he got passed again, and then he just buggered off into the distance. He would have absolutely deserved this, for sure. I think he said something about PC issues, unfortunately. That's really annoying. But yeah, in the moment I was like completely ecstatic. I was trying to focus back on the race. Trying to not get that thought too deep into my head. And yeah, no, I still can't believe it. It's amazing.
Lady Luck was sitting in your pits, that's for certain, while unfortunately Murphy was in the others. But, Flo, after a season of note of vast improvement, might I add, where you've really gone and stepped up the game from season 11 to season 12, it has been a monster growth in the Platinum. It's been incredibly quick. Reflecting back on the season that you've had for season 12, what's your thoughts on it? Taking a look at some of your most favorite moments, if you had to put it in a picture frame, what will it be?
That's a tough one. There was a lot of fun moments. For sure. The fastest lap on Imola, for sure, one of them. That was absolute. I had no idea where that pace came from. That was just there. I think I had a really nice overtake on Fengler in Kota. That's certainly up there as well with the favorite moments. And yeah, it was an amazing season overall. A lot of tracks I haven't raced a lot on. And yeah, no, it was fun learning them. It was fun doing this. Yeah, I did. I'm still lacking words. I don't know what to say, dude. I'm still overwhelmed, man.
Well, then let's properly finish it off. And anything you would like to say to the amazing partners here at ERA, the amazing admin of ERA, to the teams, the drivers, the family members, the absolute nutters of the petrol heads out there in the virtual grandstands, coming in and day out, weekly, and watching from the grandstands. Rain, shine, cold, dark, or hot, they were here supporting. Anything you would like to say?
Yeah, big thanks for the support. Much appreciated. Big thanks to everyone who made this possible, for, the admins that set this up. You for commentating. You're doing an amazing job, like always. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely lovely. Big thanks for the drivers as well. Without them, we wouldn't have this here, right? If no one would show up, then, like, you might as well hot lap. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun here. The past 2 seasons have been amazing. I've been enjoying it a lot. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Well, Flo, you've earned it. I'm very proud to say it, and we're going to say it live on air. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together. Your Season 12 winner of the Platinum Division and has seen the final 2024 flag going and rounding it off in the final race. Your champion of Platinum, the fast and feathered Flo Scub. Give him a massive round of applause. Flo, enjoy the champagne. Well deserved. You saw it to the end and stand as champion for season 12.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely incredible. And you could hear that little bit of well up of it has happened. It's been a long season, folks. If you knew how much work has gone into the background, you would know how much this means. Let's move into our next one. Third place of our Diamond Division. And Winter took a gamble, swapping out his car, going in from the likes of a 488 Ferrari in Season 11 to an Audi R8, which is pretty much jumping in to a completely different beast. Came third here tonight, took the fight straight to the sharp end of the field. He came in lying currently fifth in the championship, worked as hard as he could, but narrowly missing out towards that top three. But it is the one, the only, the James Hunt of sim racing. This is Darius. How are you feeling, buddy?
Hello, Stephen. I'm feeling great, apart from the back pain of the new bucket seat. But I've actually managed to podium the bucket that is called the Audi. After all the struggling I've had for the season, this is kind of the moment and the redemption I've been waiting for. And even though it's just technically it's just P3, but it is a podium position in the Audi, and I'm actually happy about that. And it's great to be back for once and not being, at the end of the field or crashing out or being otherwise unlucky.
Well, you took the gamble with the earlier pit stops, and it seemed to have worked out in your favor. But taking a look back at the championship, reflecting on it, as you said, hasn't been the easiest of ones. It's been that difficult, constant uphill battle. A new car, which you said you're still trying to learn. At the beginning of the season, when we had a chat to you, was you're not quite sure whether it was the right idea, but it's something that needed to happen. And just to see how everything's progressed till now, if you had to put it into a moment, if you had to picture frame a moment through all the hardships, what will it be that you would keep on the wall there as a bit of motivation heading into 2025?
I mean, given the recovery drive I had at Kota and my ability to somewhat outdrive the Audi in its worst conditions, as we've seen today all around Monza, gives me some sort of hope. But given the hardship, the shorter tracks we had, Laguna wasn't good, Imola wasn't good, Kota, I was on paper the fastest, and then I've completely bottled qualifying and got turned around in turn one, and that massively hurt. And having to move to a car that is actually not underbopped, but maximized on the bob as it can get, and as difficult to drive as it can get, because the Audi just does not obey, and if the fronts obey, the rear doesn't, and the other way around. The move to the Audi was a bit of a plunge into deep depression when it comes to sim racing, I'm not gonna lie. But it was certainly an experience, and I hope I can take something from this, and I've learned something from this going into next season. But yeah, that's basically about it.
Well, Darius, you've done an absolutely fantastic job. For a person this year that has gone from wearing the helmet to being a commentator to taking the risks, you managing to do it and scoring third on the final round. Absolutely well done. Anything you'd like to say to our amazing partners here at ERA, to the amazing drivers, teams, petrol heads, and also just the spectators coming out, sitting in the rain, the shine. They're more consistent than the post office.
Yeah, of course, massive thank you to all the drivers, all the staff, all the stewards that keep this alive. Special thanks to you, Stephen, because you make the rewatching of the races to see the moments that we've all missed because we're too busy sweating in our cars. You make it all worthwhile. You've induced me into commentating. I've had a great commentating session with you in the endurance race, and I really hope, I'm really looking forward to see you next season again, so we can have an actual banging commentary for what's about to come.
It's going to be a good one. Well, you're allowed in the commentary box, but you're not allowed going and giving up your seat because, well, you're going to have to try and beat out Christoph Peterson to go for that win again. But Darius, absolutely well done, bud. Enjoy the champagne. Third place here at Brands Hatch, and well scored nonetheless.
Thank you, Stephen. I will. Have a good night.
Same to you, bud. Same to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he's been waiting a while. We will be bringing in our gold shortly, but let's bring in our diamond. our multi-champion that scored enough championship wins to rival Max Verstappen, has won Season 9, Season 10, Season 11, and now Season 12, has been fighting it out every round, and it has always come to the final round of the championship to duke it out, and narrowly, just narrowly getting the points. And here tonight was nose to tail between his championship rival Mahayath Musa not giving him an inch, Ernest Lumbriggs not giving him an inch. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for your Season 12 Diamond Champion, your multi-champion, making history here in Evolution Racing Academy, your longest running champion here in ERA for Sunday Championships. Christoph Peterson, how you feeling, buddy? You have made it into the history books on so many levels.
Hey, yeah, of course I'm happy. It's such a relief to have it in the bag now. I was really, I don't know if it was the coffee or just that it was a championship on the line, but I was really boiling in the race sometimes. It was a really heated race with the battles and the blue flags and all that stuff. And after a while I thought it would be Donington all over again because I spun over that curb and then Limbex was in front of me. But in the end, it was probably one of the best races of the season for me.
Well, you got to prove that the little Honda has it, and you've been fighting every single season, bringing home the championship points, and this has been added on as a multi-champion, as the longest running champion here at Evolution Racing Academy. I mean, that is big history made for yourself and for the team on what has been accomplished over the course of the year, over the course of the seasons, and over the course of your sim racing career.
Yeah, I'm really happy that I can run in this league and that I can like put my name out there in this league for so long. And if you would have told me at the start of the year that in the end I would be champion 4 times in a row, then I wouldn't have believed you because I was nowhere where I am now. So I think this league definitely like shaped my driving and definitely made me get where I am right now. And I'm not finished. Like I definitely want to get faster than I am right now. I don't know how long ACC will still exist in this way, but I'll stay here and I'm already excited for the next season. I definitely need a break over Christmas. Like many of my teammates are also a bit burned out, I think, from all the racing in the past few months. But yeah.
Well, absolutely well done nonetheless. It has been such a challenging season, and now being the champion for Season 12, you have gone and scored big. Anything you'd like to say to our amazing partners here at ERA, to our amazing teams, drivers, petrol heads, I mean to everyone, our admins, our stewards, all putting in the hard work, and even those that are now going and bringing merchandise that you can get for ERA to show that you survived another season. You can get yourself a mug, you can get yourself all sorts of goodies now here at ERA. But anything you would like to say out to everyone as the first multi-champion here of Evolution Racing Academy?
I think I don't have much to add to what Darius already said. Like, thank you to the team, to you, to the staff at ERA, to everyone. And also, congratulations to all the champs of the season. I haven't looked into Server 2 yet, but congrats to Flo for winning Platinum and for Neil, my teammate Neil, for winning Gold. And also for Moaf and Ernest for giving me these fights this season and making this season so close. Yeah, I hope everyone will be back in the next season and we can have it all over again. And one thing I'm can already tease. I may change my car for Era specifically. I won't retire the Honda. You still see me in it, but there might be a new car coming. I'm not saying what it is right now, but let's see where that will put me.
Has it got an asthma pump?
Sorry?
Has it got an asthma pump, a turbo?
No.
Okay, right. So there we go. It shortens down the car listing because naturally aspirated will be V10
Yeah.
or V8. There we go. Helps it out, but
It's definitely a new challenge.
there we
It
go.
will be a big challenge.
Absolutely. Well done, Christoph Peterson. Logistical Nightmare Racing and first of our diamonds. Congratulations on your win and being the final champion for 2024.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely great stuff. Now let's bring in our second place in our golds. But man, oh man, has it been a season for him. In the Angry Weasel, has fought it out, and tonight really fought it out. It came down to literally David Young being the linchpin in the championship. But this is a driver that even threw the towel down and out, went and said he will not be back on track during the course of the season. And you know what? Earn the respect of every single driver out there. He has been campaigning the Nissan GTR over across multiple championships, has improved spectacularly in the gold division, and has been one of the biggest supporters here at Evolution Racing Academy. Give it up. Second in the gold championship, Lewis Knight. How are you feeling, bud? I know it's not quite what you wanted it, but it came down to the wire, which is exactly what you want as a driver, to really just have that race till the end.
Oh, I'm knackered. Absolutely knackered. Having Neil be so close. I mean, props to Neil. He deserves the championship win. He's driven brilliantly. But having him so close to me for the last, I don't know, 15 minutes was the most annoying thing I've ever had. Was seeing that Aston in my rearview mirror for that long. I didn't need it. I didn't need the extra pressure. But I suppose it helped me a bit more. Made me want to push a bit harder, keep the car on track. Force myself to not make mistakes.
I mean, this has been such a spectacular season for you. Lots of highs and lows, lots of, I would say, growth as a driver. You know, not always having those victories or having those difficult hardships as well. You've really gone and pushed yourself a little bit more. If you had to take a look back and reflect at the season that's gone by, what comes to mind of those moments that's just made you take a step back and go, I've done it. I've got somewhere, and I'm continuing to go somewhere.
Some of the early tracks, but I think we did Bathurst earlier this year. That's always one of my favorite tracks. So going to look at like all the stuff that we did from there. Suzuka was probably my lowest point. Getting all those drive-throughs, it's one of those ones where you just have to go and just look at it and just say, you know, unfortunately stuff happens. You can't always be, you know, on top of everything. Everyone makes mistakes. I mean, I saw it, and I know he'll hate me for calling him out for this. I saw you spin, Chris. I saw you go around in a circle. We saw it. So everyone makes mistakes. Yeah, looking back at Panorama, Imola was quite good. Monza was... I don't know how I got Monza to where I got Monza, but... Yeah, I mean, looking back at the entire season, there's been ups, there's been downs, and... Yeah, I'm happy with where it's ended. I mean, I think I ended 5 points behind Greening at the end of that, because we were 8 going into it. So I think it was about 5, maybe between 5 and 7 points by the end of that season between me and him. So yeah, it's not been the best season for me. I feel like there's a lot more for me to push out this car. There's so much more for me to push out the Nissan. Every time I get in it, it wants to go faster. I just need to work out what it wants to work with my style of driving.
Well, it's been an absolutely incredible season, and you have finished every single race of the season. Even when Suzuka looked like it was your lowest point, you still crossed the line nonetheless to keep up your consistency of finishing every race of the season. And that goes right down to likes of Finn van Holland has completed every race this season as well. So the top 5 has completed every race this season of the Gold Division. This has been an incredible one. It's been a great one. But second in the championship is nonetheless. So let's do it right. Let's do it properly. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together. Driving the Angry Weasel, second in the Gold Championship for Season 12 and seeing the checkered flag through to the end for 2024, Lewis Knight. Lewis, anything you would like to say to the amazing partners, amazing teams, drivers, petrolheads and spectators out there? Rain, shine, snow, all of it. They have been behind you, and you even had them shouting in your ears, going and telling you to go, go, go. Anything you would like to say to everyone out there, to our amazing stewards and admin, putting this all together here at Evolution Racing Academy?
As Darius has said, as Chris has said, the entirety of ERA, they've done brilliantly. Special thanks to yourself, obviously, Stephen. You've commentated the entire season. We're extremely thankful for that. And I don't know if anyone else mentioned him, but someone who definitely deserves a shout out is Fengler. The man that runs the entire thing. He couldn't be here tonight because he was off doing his own thing, but without him, without the stuff he does, there would be no era. So special thanks to Fengler, who does everything.
Well, it's absolutely great. Well, being locked in his basement, he has been sending a few messages of thanks to everyone, so that's always good to see. He has got some form of communication, but yes, definitely a shout out to Christian Fengler. Lewis, go and enjoy the celebration. You earned that champagne, and you have done it right to the end. Congratulations, buddy. And
cheers,
you've
Stephen.
Definitely earned everyone proud. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that does bring us to the end. Sadly, for 2024, we are done here at ERA. It has been such an incredible year. And once again, I reiterate the growth, the development, the absolute charge through to the end. Now, see Lewis Knight wanting to come back to the stage. Lewis, you wanting to chat? Nope. Right. But to the beautiful, beautiful running of ERA, to the massive thanks to the admins being a part of the show, being a part of all the action, going and just making sure everything runs, to Christian Fengler and the rest of the admin team, ensuring that we can keep going here. We've seen drivers coming in. We have seen guys coming in, putting in monster efforts. Both splits being live streamed. So a shout out has to go to our commentators of a season of our server 2, Kerry Pitterton, who went and streamed. That's Adrian Murad and his entire team going and being a part of it. So huge thank you to Adrian Murad and his entire team being with us and being a part of the phenomenal show going and live streaming. But for 2024, this has been such an incredible season. It's been Season 12 done and dusted. It's been proud moments and has been exciting. A huge thank you to the admins, to the stewards, to the drivers, the teams, the families and friends, to you guys, the petrol heads, going and joining us every evening, every Sunday. And it has been a wild one. If you want to be a part of the Evolution Racing Academy, go down to the description, go and click on the link and be a part of the show. Join up on our Discords and also our website. Go and purchase some of the merchandise that we got out there. We ship worldwide. It's fantastic to go and have a memento for everything that goes on, whether it be a coffee mug, whether it be a whole jersey. We've got it all here at ERA. From myself, Stephen Koenig of THC Productions, I'd like to thank the ERA family for having me around, for putting up with me for the last little while. And massive special thanks goes out to Christian Wengler and also to Paul Fenter, who without him, I wouldn't be here to go and chat to you guys. And special thank you goes out to all of you, the wonderful spectators that make this happen every single time. So, enjoy your holidays, folks. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. We'll look forward to seeing you out on the track once again. And for the final time of 2024. And this is my final time of 2024 to actually say it. But I wish to welcome you all to say it with me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody, from Evolution Racing Academy. We will see you in 2025.